Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live from our news hub here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Efua Tieku. Top of the bulletin this afternoon. Six hours of downpour at Techiman in the Bunahafo region renders scores of people homeless. Family of late former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan wants his remains interred in Ghana. And US President Donald Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen pleads guilty in a New York court to violating campaign finance laws. You're welcome to Midday Live. We are live on DSTV channel 279. Now, 6 hours of rainfall at Techiman in the Bunahafo region has rendered scores of people homeless and destroyed several property. Our Bunahafo regional correspondent Johnson Techi reports residents had to wade through floodwaters to seek refuge.
After 6 hours of rainfall, the whole place got flooded and has kept people indoors. Several properties are destroyed.
Areas affected include Kenten and Anyabrem. Victims describe the situation as devastating. Domestic items such as refrigerators, cooking utensils, learning and teaching materials, clothing, foodstuff and personal computers were all destroyed by the rain.
Also, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it has become imperative to spill the Bagri Dam on August 23 this year following the rising volume of water. NADMO said it has deployed over 200 personnel to help people who may be affected.
The Bagri Dam have given notice that with the rising trend in the volume of water in the dam at 80% this year compared to 50% rise in the volume of water same period last year, it has become imperative that spillage of the dam, which was scheduled for first week in September this year, be done earlier than scheduled. Spillage of the Bagri Dam will be done on Thursday, 23rd August 2018 and beyond. Considering the volume of water in both the black and white voter, the spillage will result in both the black and white voter overflowing their banks and thereby affecting all the people living along the banks of both rivers. The northern, upper east, upper west, northern voter, and the Afram Plains in the eastern region will be affected by the spillage. NADMO has sent a team from its operation departments at the headquarters headed by the Deputy Director General in charge of operations, Mr. Abu Ramadan, to pitch camp in Walwale and Zibila to help affected people in rescue operations to help save the lives of those living along the banks of these rivers who are likely to be in danger as a result of the spillage and overflow of these rivers.
Right, so now let's move away from floods to some other topics on politics. And the Vice Chairperson of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Amprechum Sapon-Kweku, has lashed out at critics who think the resignation of Afisa Otiko-Jaba is a blemish on Ghana. He cited a post by the minority spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who said the former minister's refusal to accept the ambassadorial role exposes the weak government. and Prechum spoke to Winston Amwa on 3FM's morning show, Sunrise.
I don't agree. I think my colleagues will need to go and learn the basics of diplomacy.
Oh, why?
The reason why I'm saying they need to go and learn the basics of diplomacy before they make this kind of comments is that, one, if a government recalls an ambassador or reassigns an ambassador to another position and is trying to fill the vacancy, and there are even challenges, how does that affect the relationship? You don't necessarily have to have a full-blown ambassador before the relationship works. I have been a diplomat before, so I know what I'm talking about. In the absence of the substantive ambassador, there is always a chargé d'affaires who handles the situation expertly. So I don't see where they are. That's why I said they need to go and learn the basics of diplomacy. Positions have been vacant for about 6 months, even a year, before they are filled. And diplomatic relationships are never affected because there are always competent people at post to do government business. So I don't see where they are coming from, unless they want to be mischievous.
So let's now look at this issue even further, because the Coalition of Women Organizers, a group made up of all women organizers of the various political parties, have backed the former gender minister's decision to quit politics. Utiko Jaba, who was recently redesignated from the gender ministry to Italy as Ghana's ambassador, has rejected the appointment, citing some family-related issues as her excuse. Now, we've been joined in the studio by Janet Nabla, who is the president of the Coalition of Women Organizers. Good afternoon to you, Janet.
Good afternoon.
Right, so politicians, they quit all the time. So why are you saying you are backing Utiko Jaba's quitting of politics? What is there to back?
She didn't just quit. She was reshuffled and she quit.
But politicians, they get reshuffled all the time.
Yes. And has anybody ever quitted from being reshuffled?
That was her decision to quit.
Yes.
Was she forced to quit?
She wasn't forced.
Right.
The problem we have here is that she was Minister for Gender and then was repositioned as an ambassador, which is of a lower rank because she will be answerable to the Minister for Foreign Affairs. So it's a demotion in her part, and truth is that we didn't want her to accept that position, but this was a decision.
This is service to your country. Whichever capacity you are in, you are serving your country, whether it's a demotion or it's a promotion.
She was the only one who was demoted. The rest were then also serving
an excuse?
It is not an excuse, but it is prerogative right on you to either accept it or not.
And she said she will quit. So why is your coalition backing? What is there to back?
We are saying that we are proud that she stood up and said she's not going to do it. It has never happened in this country. She's the only woman who came out boldly to say that I will not, if you are demoting me for no cause, because with the Ministry of Gender, she has done a great work.
I beg your pardon, but I believe that there's some sort of monitoring that is done. There's a whole minister for monitoring and evaluation, and I believe the president did his monitoring and evaluation and believe that Utiko Jaba deserves the position of ambassador.
If the monitoring and evaluation manager or this minister did his or her work well, she would have been the first minister to be. The reshuffling would have given her a better position, because among all the ministers, she has worked more than any other minister could do in that ministry. Do you know that she's the only minister who invited all the regional national women organizers on board anytime there is an issue at the gender ministry? She always calls. Whenever the gender ministry is going to do something, she calls all the other political parties devoid of political colors. Do you know that the International Women's Conference at New York, no woman have ever gone apart from their party's own people? When all the ministers for genders were there, they will go with their party members. So what
would you have the president do for her?
I am disappointed at the president that hard work is not rewarded. That is what I've seen. She's not rewarding hard work. If she's rewarding hard work, Madam Honorable Utiko Jaba should be the first person that she would have given a ministry like this Ministry of Trade or Ministry of Finance, people who are trying, should be given a task that they can go there and be able to make sure that the people of this country enjoy the good leadership qualities that she exhibited at the Ministry of Gender. So I am really disappointed, and I thank God that she reneged by saying she doesn't want that position. It's true, she doesn't need it. And
so if the president should give her a position of her choice, you believe that she should take it?
It's not the matter of position of choice. It's the matter of you being recognized that the efforts you are making is something that the society is seeing, and then they are trying to not even rewarding. You should have left her at the gender ministry, because this is the time I have never seen. The truth is that this woman has worked so hard and doesn't deserve to be demoted. I told you how she brought all the other women organizers from the various political parties, devoid of political colors. It has never happened in the history of Ghana, and this woman is the only one who brought it. So I am disappointed that the president have decided to demote her by asking her to take an ambassadorial position.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Janet Nabla is the chairperson of the Coalition of All Women Organizers, and they say they are backing Otiko Jabe's quitting of politics. Now let's look at some other issues. Now the Ghana Cocoa Board will later this week begin an exercise to cut down 10,000 cocoa trees affected by the black pod and witch's broom diseases. Now the chief executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, says affected farmers will be compensated to allow planting of new and high-yielding seedlings. A report by Benjamin Edu.
The trees, mostly diseased, are among the 40% of the total unproductive cocoa trees in Ghana. 17% of the tree stock has been affected by the swollen shoot disease and other diseases. Another 23% of the cocoa trees are either in moribund farms or overaged. The move to destroy the cocoa trees comes at a time Cocoa Board is targeting a minimum production of 1 million metric tons by 2020. Ghana, the second largest producer of cocoa in the world, currently produces about 800,000 tons. The destruction exercise is starting in Seshwi in the western region, where 60% of the country's cocoa is produced. Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, said the destruction of the crops has become necessary to improve crop yield.
Cocoa Board has decided to cut 10,000 hectares of the disease farms starting in Seshwi. But that's where the disease is, most severe.
The Cocoa Board CEO addressed the Olam Ghana Cocoa Managers Conference, which seeks to equip the managers with best management practices. He appealed to managers to ensure farmers are protected and not cheated. Discussions at the annual event centered on welfare of farmers and managers, labor and other issues affecting sustainable cocoa production.
Now, the family of the late former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan has kicked against any move to have his remains interred in a foreign land. The Kronkohene of Konongo and Otumfuo's Chenehene, Nana Kofi Brewo, says there's no way their illustrious son will be buried outside Kumasi, let alone overseas.
The demise of the former United Nations Secretary General Bosomoro Kofi Annan was announced in the morning of Saturday, August 18. Even before the one-week celebration and formal family meeting on funeral arrangements, speculations were rife on where the respected world leader should be buried. But the Kronkohene of Konongo and Otumfuo's Chenehene, Nana Kofi Brewo, who is also the head of the Annan family at Fantiniu Town in Kumasi, insists the man who put Ghana's name on the world map cannot be buried in a foreign land.
I don't think that will be possible because he belongs here. His father is here, the mother, they are all laid here. And I'm sure he will have to join the ancestors too. So that when we pour libation, we know that he's with us, but not somewhere abroad.
He encouraged the youth to emulate the lifestyle of the late statesman.
His sincerity, his patience, his diplomacy, and his cultured way of interacting with other people. And without any scandal whatsoever. And this, if the youth will emulate his behavior and character, I think we can get forward with this.
The former Secretary General of the United Nations died on Saturday at a hospital in the Swiss city of Bern on August 18 at the age of 80 and after a short illness. He served as the 7th United Nations Secretary General from January 1997 to December 2006.
Also, the late Kofi Annan, former UN Secretary General, has royal roots in both Kumasi and Akwemufie. Since his demise, families have been speaking on his personality and ties back home. But what is expected of his burial and funeral rites? A cultural historian, Osei Safo Kantanka, explains the traditional processes in the following interview with Kofi Edudonfe.
The passing of Kofi Annan, two royal families here in Kumasi and at Akwemu in the eastern region have come out to state their positions in terms of what they expect to be done in the performance of the final burial and funeral rites. From the traditional perspective, how should things pan out in the whole ceremonial activities?
Right. If you look at Kofi Annan, is somebody who belongs to the whole world. Whole of Africa, whole of Ghana, and his mother side in Ghana and father side in Ghana. His father side, it is clear, that is Kumasi, and the mother side is now clear, that is Akwem. So among the two groups, the Akwems and the Ashantis are all Akans, and among the Akans is the maternal lines which we all told. That is to say, we inherit maternally, so that unless the family, the maternal family, has given their consent for whichever person has died's body to go to the father side cannot immediately say they are taking control. They can do that only on condition that they have sat together with the maternal side and have agreed. And I strongly believe that the maternal side will agree for Annan's rites to be performed in Kumasi, in the sense that he was born in Kumasi, brought up in Kumasi, and throughout his life, most of his life was led in Kumasi.
What should happen should the state also decide to come in here?
Well, the state may come in, but that is also in consultation with all the sections of the family, the mother side, the father side, and again, Annan's father was a chief in Asantehene's court. That is also another section. So Asantehene would play a bigger role when it comes to traditional affairs.
So, from your perspective, should the body arrive in Ghana anytime soon? What should happen traditionally?
Yeah, talking about the body, another section, another group would also come in. That is, he has a wife and children. So they have also a part to play. And under normal circumstances, you can't do things about their father bypassing them. They will come in. Just in case, nobody knows his will. If he has decided that he should be buried by his wife and children, or he should be buried in Geneva, where he lived, nobody knows. And it will be known before any burial will take place. So no one can actually know where exactly he will be buried.
There is a section of the public that says the title given him by the Asantehene, the Busumuru title, is enough for him to be accorded that right here in Kumasi, even without the consent of the other side, as you talked about. Does the title really mean much in the affairs of the burial and funeral rites?
Certainly it does. The title Busumuru is the highest title in the Ashanti Kingdom, and that is that belongs to the Asantehene, and he has given a portion of his title to Kofi Annan, meaning he is in bed with Kofi Annan. That is to say, if he has passed on, then of course he would have the right to do everything about his funeral. Every rite should be performed by the Asantehene. But that also depends on the way Asantehene will do his things. No one can know exactly what is in the mind of Asantehene unless he has spoken.
As it stands now, do you have any idea whether the Otumfuo, the Asantehene, has been informed officially of the demise?
I have no idea as to whether or not he's been informed, but I suspect they have not come yet.
Safo Kantanka, we call him Teacher Kantanka, is a cultural historian explaining things to us regards the passing and the final funeral rites expected of the late Kofi Annan, former.
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. There's more coming up on the bulletin. Do stay tuned. You're welcome back. The minority in Parliament has petitioned the IMF to seek clarification on the $2 billion barter agreement between the government of Ghana and Sino Hydro Group Limited of China. Now, according to the minority, there are illegalities and technical concerns of the Sino Hydro transaction. The statement recalled that the Minister of Finance, in his presentation of the mid-year budget review on the floor of Parliament on Thursday, July 19, 2018, stated that the Sino Hydro financial transaction will not add to the public debt stock because it is merely a barter transaction and not a loan. The minority added that it has carefully studied the provisions and terms of the barter transaction as officially tabled and passed by Parliament and have identified a number of legal and technical issues that explicitly make the transaction a loan. The determination and decision to write to the IMF for clarification is based on perceived changes. Welcome back. Now, all is set for the 2018 Ghana's Most Beautiful Beauty Pageant to begin, following the selection of 10 girls to participate in this year's competition. The 10 contestants, who exhibited a great deal of eloquence, convinced judges that they are on top of their game with regards to knowledge about their respective regions. Now, the ladies are poised to battle each other for the 13-week contest.
The show since its inception has witnessed 11 ladies being crowned as winners. This year's auditions began in Accra, continued in Tamale and then in Kumasi. 10 ladies who exhibited a great deal of eloquence impressed the judges that they are on top of their game with regards to knowledge about their respective regions, which led to their final selection. They were selected after weeks of audition and screening, which cut across the 10 regions of Ghana. Over the years, GMB has churned out industrious young women who have made positive impact in the society. Some past queens have also capitalized on the GMB platform to embark on projects that benefited many in the country. This year's contest is under the catchphrase, "This is the life," and it promises to entertain and educate viewers by dishing out what is anticipated to be exciting performances from the contestants weekly. The search for Zainab's successor just begun.